It's time for Inside the Patch with your Las Vegas Raiders. Here's Gnarley Charley.
Yep, that was some great highlights there of the game. It's Inside the Patch. I'm Gnarley Charley. Got a little bit of a sore throat from yelling at the Raiders and the TV stations and screaming my head off. But I'm joined by Mitch Adams here. Mitch, I'm going to need your help this week because I'm exhausted from screaming. Tell me, what are we going to do? The nation is upset. The nation doesn't even like the owner right now, doesn't like the coach. What are we going to do?
Well, Charlie, I didn't tell you I'm hoarse. No, I'm just kidding. I was yelling at the TV as well. And, where are the adjustments being made?
Right.
It's the same old Raiders week after week. And you would think that somebody's watching film saying, you know what? That's not working. Let's try something else. Hey, let's put a little help over there on Illuminor at right tackle so Khalil Mack doesn't get 6 sacks. Come on. Where are the adjustments? And, and we had an opportunity to actually tie that game up at the end. In fact, we did. They just missed it, and we didn't challenge it for at the goal line. And then the interception came, but we were in the game. So I don't think that we're a bad team. There's just something missing. And I don't know what it is other than tackle a quarterback on third down when he scrambles. Tackle somebody. I mean, how many third longs do you see someone, and it's only been 4 games, but it seems like an entire season, that they scramble and get the first down? And you're like, are you kidding me? We should have been off the field. Right. But we're still, we've been in 3 of these games. Well, we won 1 and 2 that we lost. We were in them, which is so frustrating. And you expect that from Buffalo, but we should have won this, our only home game of the year against the Chargers in Los Angeles. Should have won that game. And
it was so loud for the Raiders. Oh,
it wasn't. It was unusual. It was unusual. I haven't heard that since last year in Los Angeles. And the fans let Mark Davis have it. I don't think he'll get one of those outside boxes anymore. He'll probably be behind the glass in Los Angeles from now on because, boy, did they let him have it.
Well, and did you see? Okay, did you see the reaction of just a lot of our. No one would have ever done that to Al Davis. No one would have ever done that. Ever. No. Out of respect.
Yeah, true.
But
I don't think many fans have a lot of respect for Mark Davis. I think within the organization, and because I remember watching how people started calling him Mark Davis rather than just Mark. Go talk to Mark Davis. They started adding Davis to the end.
Right.
It was, and when they referred to Al back when it was always Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis.
And there was no Al, nothing other than Mr. Davis.
Right.
And every time he walked around, everyone, Mr. Davis, they gave him so much respect. Yeah. And Mark always ran around as the owner's son. Mr. Davis passes, he assumes the throne. And people started paying respect to him. And I don't know if he's earned the respect, but they're giving it to him.
Right.
And internally.
Right.
But outside, people are frustrated. And who do you turn to? I mean, McDaniel seems to be aloof on the sideline. It's like, dude, do something. They can only take it out on Mark. Not a good position to be in. If I were him, I'd seriously be thinking about making a change because this McDaniels doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing. I think he's going to lose the team before long.
Well, some of the players have already fired Josh McDaniels. Peterson, someone's posted, said fire Josh McDaniel.
Yeah, see, that's tough. You everything that's done on social media, especially done by a player, whether it's posting or liking, is immediately seen by someone.
Exactly. You're telling everyone, watch this. You can't take it back.
Here's a story. My good friend of mine was working for the Falcons, and they brought some guys in to try out for the team. And the Falcons practice way outside of Atlanta. And on the bus ride there, he's making comments on what he's seen along the way, calling it country and all this other stuff. And he gets there and they're like, hey, you can get back on the bus. He's like, what? And I said, we don't need you. We saw the comments you made about the area. And so we don't need a player like you. And they let him go, right? He never got a chance to practice or try out. So they are watching, contrary to what people would believe.
Right.
Somebody's monitoring everyone's social media.
Yeah, and the fact that to like that, it's kind of like saying, okay, boss, I want you to know this. It's not you can say, oh, I accidentally liked it. You did it. You did it.
Oh, it's deliberate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it, again, Khalil Mack, 6 sacks that he registered. There were other times he got close. Where's the help on the right tackle? I mean, along with the right tackle. Because that guy, Khalil bought that guy lunch all day long. Just, here's the sandwich. I'm going to get the quarterback now. Take a break.
And he was one of my favorite players of all time, when Khalil was
there's no reason not to still like him. I mean, he's a great player. We just happen to let him go for whatever. Well, I know the reasons, but
I know. I know what you're saying. But then what I didn't like was when the game was over and Josh McDaniels starts talking about Aiden and how he needs to do this, he needs that. I'm like, this is a rookie that needs confidence. You don't really need to say the obvious. You need to say, find something good and say that.
Right. You throw the rookie under the bus, ball security. The guy was under siege the entire game. And he actually played pretty well for a rookie coming in against a pass rush like that. Thank God Bosa wasn't playing. Whew, Lord have mercy. That would have been a nightmare.
Well, if we hadn't pretend we were the Super Bowl with Seattle and the Patriots at the end of the game and thrown the ball when we were running pretty well, I don't know why we didn't run at least a couple times. I mean, the whole thing. I was just like,
and then pick play. We get called in the game pass to Jacoby Myers, offensive pass interference. I saw the last play that the Chargers ran. I'm pretty sure that receiver pushed off of our defensive back. So call them evenly. Don't be. There's going to be a little hand checking by receivers and defensive backs down the way. It happens, but if you're going to call it on us, call it on them. But you're right. Back to the head coach. Don't get up at that mic stand and throw the rookie quarterback under the bus. Say something positive about what he did.
Right.
He had a running touchdown. He was thrown into an unenviable situation and had an opportunity to tie that game up in regulation. And that's no easy feat on the road. Well, it was kind of a home game, so.
But don't you feel like, okay, if John Gruden was the coach, and when he was the coach, if the referee does something wrong, John's going to let him know about it. If the player does something wrong, John's going to let him know about it. If there's something wrong, where Josh is always just looking for an excuse, where Gruden would say, this is my fault. It's my team. And if they're doing this, it's under me. Where McDaniels makes excuses. He
makes excuses. He airs it out in the media. Aiden O'Connell should have been mentioned in the quarterback room, ball security.
Right.
Josh should have done nothing but praise him for what he did in that game. I mean, he turned Josh Jacobs into a wide receiver because he dumped it off to him time and time again, which was great.
Right.
He found the safety valve. And, he took some shots down the field, maybe ill-advised, a couple of them, but he still had us in position to tie that game and to go in overtime and with a chance to perhaps win that game. And the play calling down the stretch. Again, you mentioned that Super Bowl. Everyone knew Marshawn was going to get that ball, and all of a sudden you do what? I mean, you've got a sledgehammer and a running back. Put a lineman in the backfield, do a heavy package, go over left guard, right guard, whatever, punch it in.
Zach Crockett his ass. That's what we should have been. I mean, if you don't know who he is, he was a player, played for us a couple of years back, and he was our guy. If we wanted to hammer it in, we hammered it in.
Man, Zach was almost automatic. When he came in the game, goal line, handed to Zach, touchdown. I mean, he had to be in the 90 percentile of the times he got the ball inside the 5 that he was scoring.
Exactly.
Oh, my God. But that's when you had confidence. The line knew that they could blow the defensive line back and push it into the end zone, and Zach just walked it in half the time. We could have done that. We should have done that.
Right. You and I have been Raider fans for a long time. And
too long.
That feels like it sometimes. I mean, but I would have to say, at least last year, I thought we had it. There was some hope. There was something, We're here. It's such a disarray. It's almost as bad as our country sometimes, when there's different sides to everything, and it's not coming together. They're not making anybody great again. They're all fighting, and nobody's happy with anything. The owner's getting heckled. The players are liking fire the coach. The coach doesn't feel like he's one of us, But,
he could be. Sometimes you just have to loosen up. Remember when Shanahan came to the Raiders when they were in Los Angeles? And he brought in all these rules that players couldn't sit on their helmets on the sideline. And it was almost like you're trying to change everything overnight. And he just never bought into the Raider philosophy. He was trying to bring his own in. And sometimes you have to marry the two and then present it that way. Josh, for whatever he's trying to do, and man, I wish him well because I want to see us win. And we have an opportunity to win over these next 4 weeks because we have winnable games. But we cannot make any more mistakes. And maybe it's the discipline that we need. And then maybe that's, if we start winning, maybe we start to see another side of Josh McDaniels. Because right now, like you said, only thing we're seeing is somebody pointing the fingers at everyone else other than himself for the reason the team isn't doing well.
Well, one of the things that came out this week that I thought was positive was Devontae said, I want to be a Raider for a long time. He came out and said that. And he said, this is my team. Because I think people were thinking he's ready to split. And he's like, no, I don't have time in my career now to wait 8 years. So let's get this thing done.
We have the pieces. I think if Crosby had somebody to complement him on the opposite side of the field, we would probably be doing a lot better defensively, which means because Chandler Jones is gone, which means Tyree Wilson has to step up.
Right.
And, the rest of the defense has played pretty well except for tackling on third down. And that goes back to, the lack of preseason play. You're only in pads every handful of days. And so tackling is something that you have to rely upon from what you used to do. You don't get to practice tackling like you did in the old days in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Now it's just like, we're in helmets and shorts again. And no contact drills. And we're letting too many running backs squirt out for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 yards when you've had hands on them in the backfield for losses. And then they're squirting through. So I would have my guys in pads all week practicing tackling. I mean, I know you can't because
I don't think they let
the
you.
Rules. Yeah. But something has got to change because the initial push on defense, we're getting to the ball carrier. It's for a loss or 1 or 2 yard gain, and next thing you know, it's 8 yards. And it's like, sometimes don't you feel like they don't finish the tackle because they don't want a penalty? They don't want to, or they're trying to strip the ball too much. Well, yeah, that's it. But then you see a lot of guys come in with just shoulders and not trying to wrap up the ball carrier or the receiver. I'm gonna put a big hit on this guy with my shoulder, and he gets away, he bounces off.
And it works 80% of the time. But then when it doesn't work, then it's bad.
Just wrap him up. Wrap him up. Let's play the next down for stopping them short of a first down. But the way we've done it, going for the big hit, bounce off, 15-yard gain, 20-yard gain. We got to stop that.
Yeah.
And again, to do what we did against the Chargers, and I don't know how much Herbert's hand affected him, his left hand, in the second half. But we still held him to way under his average. Not in the first half, but the second half we really clamped down. So maybe they can take something from that and bring that into the Green Bay game, because we're going up against Love, and he's not really a proven talent. This is his first year starting. So we should hopefully, even though they're favored on the road in Las Vegas, it'll probably be 80% cheeseheads and 20% Raider fans, but you got to win this game. Again, like I said last week, it starts with the next game, and that's Monday night.
Well, I heard Devontae's Taco Bell's going to have extra cheese all week. So if you go to his Taco Bell, it's going to be good. I don't know. All right, so Devontae's going to have a reason to play, obviously.
Yeah. And let's just say Devontae going out with the shoulder injury early in the game, I thought he was done.
I did too.
Oh, my God. And he came back and had one hell of a second half. Oh, my God. That has to be inspiring to the young guys and, well, in fact, the entire team. Because I honestly thought he was done. I thought the
season's over. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I really thought that. I was like, and then when I saw him, and he does sometimes, him and what's his name, 16?
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers. Sometimes they have the same hairdo, and their numbers are similar, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. There's two Jacobys out there. No, Devontae's back. Yes.
Devontae's back. That was so beautiful to see. I was so happy. And he played his butt off. And, the pass was going to him. Man. I think an experienced quarterback may have pulled that back and maybe dumped it into the ground or something, or thrown it out the back of the end zone, live to play another day or another down. Didn't happen. And he'll learn from it. Right. And I think this kid could be really good. And in fact, I was impressed when he wasn't under pressure, the way he stood tall in the pocket.
Yep.
We haven't seen a lot of that in recent years.
No, I feel real good, positive about him. I feel like the Raiders are kind of like a basketball player that doesn't have good rotation. We need the perfect rotation, right? If there was only a training device like you sell right there, the perfect rotation for our Raiders, maybe we need to invent that. I kid you because I can, and I think we're all feeling the same way. But there were some positive things. So
there were. Josh Jacobs seems to be hitting the hole a lot better. Devontae's always a positive. Max is always a positive. I'm going to give Aiden O'Connell props because, again, unenviable situation coming in as a rookie and on the road. And I think he did an admirable job.
Yeah.
If you provide him protection, and if they had just run tight end to Mac's side or the running back to at least chip him, knock him off his balance, give Aiden 2 more seconds, man. He was zinging that ball.
Right.
Well, some ill-advised, but he's young. But
sometimes I was like, too hard. You got to get. I mean, you're 5 feet away. I used to get mad at my girlfriend because I'd be like 3 feet from her, and she would throw something as hard as she could. I go, you can't do that. You can't just toss it. Lighten it up. You don't just whip it. You don't need to hit with the remote that hard. Slow
like
it
my
down.
Young nephew, I'm like, when he's like, hey, like, let me just hand it to Uncle.
Yeah, don't throw it with everything you got. Okay,
Yeah.
The worst thing I heard all week, and Richard Sherman said that Max Crosby, we need to trade him. Because he goes,
No.
Max Crosby's wasting his time in Vegas, and he went on a rant. And I see where he's coming from, but no, there's no way. If to trade Max Crosby, the conversation would go, well, we'll start with 3 first-round picks, and that's what we'll start with, and then there'll be more.
Oh, no
It's
doubt.
not happening. It's not happening.
No doubt. And it couldn't be late first-round picks. It'd have to be early first-round picks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because if you make a trade during the season and you bring in a pass rusher, just a decent pass rusher, somebody to pay attention to on the opposite side, Max is going to eat. Max is eating already anyway.
Right. I mean, but here's Khalil Mack, though, having a – God, can you imagine Mac and Max? Mac and Max. Oh, Eminem.
Wow.
We'd have Eminem.
Wow.
Oh,
that would be unfair.
I know. I can't even think about it because it's not happening.
Can't think about it.
Oh, man.
See, I think Max, just like Devontae, you know, you're on a team and you want to see that to the end.
Right.
And I you know, in my mind, forever hopeful, we beat Green Bay this week, and then you have 3 games that are winnable over the next, 4 games coming up over the next month that are winnable. In the next month at 4-3, like I said last week, 5-2, I thought I would be. You're in the conversation. And I think 4-3 would put you into a conversation as a wild card team.
Right.
Because we already know we can beat the Chargers. We didn't do it, but I think we know we can. We already beat Denver. Right. KC is, you know,
KC's KC.
We always played well against them, at least to start with.
Right.
You know, we had them. We jumped out on them last year in Kansas City.
I agree with what you're saying too, though. There is we're never out of it, man. We're never out of it.
No, but I think where the team needs help is help Illuminor at right tackle. You know, put somebody in to chip that defensive end. Either line the tight end over there, but you have to slow whoever that is down. The running game seems to be getting going. Man, get my man 13 involved. What? Where's he goes from 103 catches 2 years ago down to 36 last year. And maybe he has 6 now. I think he had 3 catches in this game, 3 coming in, and then had 3, I think, in the game. But Renfro is a weapon.
Give him back.
Use him.
Yep. Mitch Adams, thank you, man, so much, dude. Thank you very much. Last words. What's the last
Green
thing?
Bay. Beat Green Bay.
Beat Green Bay. I love it. All right. Mitch Adams, perfectrotation.com. Check it out. It's a basketball training device for your youngsters so they can play basketball with so much more rotation. You got to have it.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back with more Inside the Patch on 1430 ESPN, your official home of the Las Vegas Raiders.